Do you guys ever go on Tinder sometimes? Just wonder, man, wish I could just meet the wife and kids. Well, you know what? Today's the day. I'm going to explain to you how to meet the wife and kids by actually either using Tinder or not using Tinder. Now, people seem to have this algorithm apparently to find matches. Now, if you don't know what Tinder is, Tinder is a application which people use. You will swipe left or right, but essentially no or yes on a said individual. You know, say you're a guy, you're looking for a girl. I've noticed Tinder now, like you can put like other in there for your gender. That's interesting. And you can also search for guys too, or say for if you're for a girl, and you can also look for a girl. And you're also going to find guys, but they'll come under the girl category, so you actually do see them and swipe on them, which is very creative. I'll give them that. Now, basically, when you swipe right on somebody, it means, yes, I'm interested, and if they swipe right, you guys match. Now, the match is pretty much the goal, is obviously you want the match, and the match will now allow you to message the user. So, originally, though, before you match, you're allowed to see the profile of the user, which normally there's not a whole lot going on there. And they can link a couple things there. Instagram, you can swipe through a couple pictures and you can go creep their Instagram account. And they have like their anthem, I think they call it. So it's like your song choice. I've never bothered with that shiz. And then you can actually link your Facebook to it, but I don't think they can see that in the profile view there. They won't be able to play around or anything like that. So that's kind of nice, just in case you don't want people seeing your public profile on Facebook. Now, if someone swipes no, and you swiped yes, there's no match, right? They're not interested, they're moving along, and there you go. So we're going to talk about in this video a couple key points, but some of the main ones we're going to go over is in general, and then we'll branch in subtopics on every one of those, is messaging, profiles, the Tinder Gold, so the pay scale there, kind of what you get, the perks you get with Tinder Gold, and other than that, really just the spam and the fake accounts, which could kind of go to profiling, but again, it'll be its own thing. And like I said, there'll be the odd one or two here that I don't mention right now, but we'll be getting into those here in any time. So without any further ado, let's get into the first topic here, which I know you folks are probably absolutely stoked for. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is fake profiles. So fake profiles on Tinder are pretty self-explanatory, but if you're not aware, I will break it down for you. Now, as a male on Tinder, I like to swipe right on a lot of people, but you'll notice usually some common things about a fake profile. One of them being usually one picture. One picture just seems to be the thing you come across. You know what I mean? Might not even be a bad thing. But you just see one picture, that's a sign, okay, that there's a possibility. Plenty of people go on Tinder, they have one picture, and they're regular people, they're not a fake profile. So, keep that in mind. The second one, and again, coming from the guy perspective, is the female is usually way too attractive. And by way too attractive, I mean, like, literally, like, Googled up supermodel picture and copy-pasted right over. Sometimes you can actually see, and this is the funny one too, is when they do a screenshot of it, so you can see, like, someone's profile in there of like either a social media or Tinder or whatever, and those are always very entertaining. Like they're like it's a very blurry shot kind of thing like that. Usually there's not a whole lot going on in the profile either. So when you look at the profile, it's either just non-existent or it's something really generic that's trying to get your attention, looking for sex, which is that's clearly a no-brainer. People see that, they just jump on it like fucking white on rice, bud. And another giveaway there is, like I said, just the messages alone. If you match with this person, usually they'll message first right away, with a hello there, the smiley face, or hey cutie, or something stupid, but it gets your attention, you see the message, and if you message them, whether it be first or second, to reply, you'll notice you'll get a paragraph usually, that's how it goes there normally, with all kinds of emojis telling, please come check out my site, check my cam out, my webcam, and that kind of thing. There's always a link in there. Don't ever click a link in Tinder. Don't ever do it. Don't click a link. Not even on the internet normally. If someone emails you and they're like, here's a link, don't do it. That's a no-no. Don't do the thing. They usually just want your money or something like that. I've never clicked the link. I don't plan to click the link. I can't tell you what happens when you click the link. I really can't. Another big thing about those profiles, though, which is always really annoying, and that you can, again, you can see is sometimes in the profile itself it'll actually have the link to it, but sometimes it'll, like, instead of having like a .com, it'll literally be the word .com, so it doesn't come up as a link to an email or to a website or to whatever, which I think is really interesting because obviously they know what they're doing, and usually these profiles get blocked within no time. So the next thing I want to talk about here is messages. Now, messages is the broader topic, but we'll get into this a little bit more serious. So there's a couple videos on YouTube you'll find, and by a couple I mean probably thousands by now, of people talking about, oh, a message to 1,000 girls, like just straight up for sex. So many of them replied that they were interested. You'll hear girls say, I went on Tinder and I got bombarded, and just fucking messages out the wazoo, and I didn't know how to react to that. Okay. Now, again, this video is from my personal perspective, but I also made a female account at one point to kind of play it by ear and see what would actually happen. Now, that profile did get a lot of matches, and it got a lot of messages, but actually they were fairly genuine. Most of them seemed to be pretty good. Plenty of Fish was the same idea, but Tinder's definitely more for sex. There's no doubt about it. And one of the reasons why is, again, the profile. The profile just doesn't have a lot of that chemistry in there, and there's not a lot about you. It's like literally just write a line, a word, whatever you want, and that's really all you need to do technically, and it's free. So the messages, like I said, a lot of times, like, again, how we've talked about before, you're going to get spam messages, which are really annoying. Most of the time when you message somebody, chances are they just won't respond. That's pretty much the most common, even if you're like knee deep into a conversation, like you are literally just swimming in a conversation, and up here, she never replied, and that's it. My biggest pet peeve personally is messaging someone, again, that they don't have much on the profile. They're always just like, message me please, I'm too scared to message first, yada yada yada. And so I go, hey, how you doing? Lovely weekend here, whatever. I come up with something so fucking creative you've never heard of it before, and sure enough, I'm shut down, right? Other times, I get something really good like that going, and I literally get like the one-word answer, and it just kills the vibe completely. Now, again, from the female perspective, you have to deal with a massive inflood of messages, so you kind of have to be a little selective. It can't just be, maybe not necessarily the generic, hey, how are you? But that's sometimes not a bad thing, because a lot of the times people are just, hey, wanna fuck? There you go. And if that's not what you're into, there's a problem. Okay? So the messaging thing can be kind of awkward. Like I said, I normally don't even get a message, or as in a response. And I've almost found out of maybe like 1 out of 50, if I'm lucky, the female would message first. It seems to be a very rare occasion. I like that occasion. It just never seems to happen, in my perspective, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But, I know the guys are technically supposed to be on the hunt, but again, agree to disagree. So profiles, we're going to talk about that here now. So profiles in general, I find they're an iffy category because there's so many things to a profile. Like there's the picture, there's the bio, right? Let's get into that. So I don't have, excuse me, I don't have Instagram linked. I don't have Facebook linked. I haven't got any of that linked. There's no Anthem. It's just quick little profile, quick about me. It's kind of funny. You read it, you kind of chuckle. That's good. Now, I've uploaded, I think I've got 5 pictures. You're going to see a lot of people that tell you there's a science behind it. There's a science behind how many pictures you should have. What should your pictures be of? Should you be smiling? Should they be you being active? I don't know. I don't know the secret to it, and I can't tell you the secret to it. Buddy of mine went on there, a couple pictures, not even like close-ups, like selfies or anything. He's got like 80 matches. I get like a match a month, and I'm stoked. Now, I think the pictures are kind of good, and they show off a little bit of, I wouldn't say professionalism, but they show off a little bit of photography, because they show angles, they show, an interesting way of taking a selfie, and not literally just standing in front of a camera and smiling. So anyway, I got a couple up there, got some nice photos. I think that's good. Again, I'm not a fan of just the one photo. I'm not a fan of someone being half naked, male or female. You got no shirt on and you're a guy, I'm not in, like that. That's something, if I were a girl, I'd be swiping left on. If I see a girl and she's got her ass on the sink, I'm swiping left on. I'm sorry. Okay? That's just how I am. It's just what I'm, and those two right there might have been perfect for each other. But that's just not what I'm looking for. So I swipe left. Okay? That's it. Not interested. Sorry. Now, I also know people just swipe right on everybody, and I have done that, and I'm not saying that necessarily works, but there's some chances. Uh, Now, again, with the profile, the bios, I hate when they're like completely just unfilled. There's not much going on there. See, there's not much to wager on. You can't really read it and get to know somebody. But at the same time, it could also prompt you to message them and ask about them because you actually haven't been able to read anything about them. You don't know. So you could say, hey, are you in school? Hi, what are you doing? Oh, what do you do for work? Okay, yeah, what's your favorite color? I don't know. Whatever. So there is ground there to go on. Now, the thing with profiles is you're going to find you're going to see a lot of the same profiles. So if you're ever on there and like you're like, oh, I'm going to delete the account and restart. I do live in a smaller community, but I see literally the same profiles day in and day out. So keep that in mind. That's always an iffy one. So the next topic we're going to talk about here is matching or matches. This is like, again, your biggest thing. It's really what you're after. That and messaging for a date or whatever you guys are down for. Netflix and chilling, apparently. That's the thing nowadays. So the matches, really, again, like I said, is when both people swipe right, both parties have swiped right, you match, there you go. A lot of the times I find, actually, I'm just unmatched. By the time I go to message them, type something up, they're gone, right? See you later. Other times when they match, and it's kind of nice, actually, unless you have Tinder Gold, you can't see it, but they'll come up a little thing, it'll be like +1, so you'll know somebody has swiped right on you. That's what it'll tell you. And the picture of the person's blurry, but you can see an outline, so you get an idea, right? Oh, they're wearing like a red top. You get an idea. Now what you can do is actually restart Tinder, so restart the app. And what it'll do is it'll actually put them right away in like your first couple people because they have already swiped on you. Now keep in mind, if you're a guy and you're searching for women on Tinder, and a guy is searching for guys and swiped right on you, he will now come up in your search feed because it wants to get you to match with him, right? And that's vice versa for women. So that's just an interesting thing to keep in mind because they are there, and that's what Tinder's going to do. It's going to push that. It's pushing that agenda to say, okay, someone's already swiped right, let's get them involved. Now, Tinder Gold is, again, a thing you can pay for Tinder, and it gives you certain benefits and perks that you're not going to get if you just go free. So one of the first things about Tinder is you can't swipe unlimited amount of times. You can swipe so many times, and all of a sudden it's going to pop up, and it's because you swipe too many times, you got to wait 12 hours. And then you can continue to swipe, okay? And then they'll cap you again. They cap you at so many. Like it could be like 100 swipes. I don't know. Tinder Gold, that's gone. You can swipe wherever. You can swipe as many as you want. Now, super likes are a thing of Tinder. Super like is basically a like, but it actually sends a notification to the user's phone telling them you have been super liked. Okay, that's interesting. Now, as a free member, you get one. And I think that's every 24 hours. And it actually used to be 12, believe it or not. And I also think the unlimited swiping thing, I think you only had to wait 6 hours, but now it's doubled to 12. Could be wrong there, but I know the super likes one is right. So, again, you get one super like, you send it, they get the notification. When they swipe on you, okay, when they're swiping through, you'll highlight kind of in blue. So they'll see it. Fuck, he super liked me. And then, of course, they can just swipe no on you if they want, and you just, RIP kid. And the other funny thing about that is if you pay Tinder Gold, if you pay into that, you get 5, okay, instead of 1. So you get 5 super likes. And I'm actually telling you, they're quite worth it because I've got several matches on them, and I've actually got a few dates out of the super likes compared to the regular liking somebody. So that's something to keep in mind. But again, where I live in a small community, and I've matched on these people probably a dozen times already, I need all the help I can get, okay? Thanks. So anyway, Tinder Gold. So the regular price, I believe, for this is, I think it goes for about $11 or so a month, and you can get certain packages and deals, but just keep in mind, probably around something like that. You're paying around $7 to $11 a month, depending on if you're going for the year for a month, or for 6 months. Of course, the higher up you go, for say 6 and 12, you pay less per month, but you pay more in bulk, which is always, of course, how it's going to work. One of the handier Tinder Gold perks is called Rewind. So let's say, for example, I swiped no on somebody, and I was like, oh, fuck, man, really needed to swipe right on her. You can actually rewind, and she'll come back, and you can re-swipe on her and send her to the right. And it also works for super like, which will retract the super like you could use for somebody else if you needed to. So that's actually kind of a good thing. If you're swiping right on everybody, and oh shit, I didn't want to swipe on her. There you go. Right? You can do that if you need to. It's kind of handy. Some users may say they're not, that it isn't, but I personally like it. Another one that I'm not actually a big fan of is the location. So you can actually switch your location like basically anywhere in the world, and then all of a sudden just start swiping in that location. But if I'm correct, on their profile, like on their Tinder, when they look at you and they see you in the search thing, it'll actually still keep the distance that you're from. So if you're like 1,300 kilometers away, you'll come up 1,300 kilometers away, and they're swiping no. So I found that one actually really doesn't work very well. Maybe more for, again, for women, because I think some guys are kind of desperate personally, but that's again, up to preference. Now the boost you get one free boost. I think you can buy more. I don't know how much they cost. But the boost will put you on the top. So basically, people will see you. They're like, oh shit, right? He's there, and like you come up like right away, right? So you have a better chance of actually getting a match. And the boost will get you a lot of people, too, that are a little farther away, which, again, can kind of work to your advantage. Now, Tinder has also offered something new that I don't know how this works because I haven't actually used it yet. But they'll give you, like, a quote-unquote free super like, but you get to play, like, a little game. There's, like, 6 profiles there. I don't know how it works, but maybe you get a free super like, and you don't actually have to wait 24 hours. That's kind of handy. And there's also another thing where they give you, like, the matches of the day. The matches of the day, I don't know how that works, so I can't criticize it, and I can't mention anything there. But I do know that when you, again, get Tinder Gold, you can actually see who likes you already. So instead of using that blurry picture, you actually get to see the profile itself. Or I don't know if you can actually click onto the profile, but you get to see the user, and you're like, oh, it's that chick. Perfect. Or it's that guy. Perfect. That's not too bad. So there's perks. So I quickly just want to mention scammers. It's going to be very quick here, but I've kind of mentioned the fake profiles. So basically, again, the scammers is like the fake profile. They're going to come at you, and the biggest thing they're going to do is they're just going to send you links, right? Your biggest thing about a scammer, in personal opinion of Tinder, is just to block the profile or report it. Report it right away. And I'm pretty sure they've actually got one of the drop-down arrows is scammers. So, or scamming. So you can totally do that. Try to get those profiles out of there. I don't know if they're ever going to stop, but it really makes Tinder kind of hard because when you start swiping on people, next thing you know, you've got like 7 matches that are all just fake profiles trying to scam you out of money, and it can get really ridiculous. Now, some of the dates I've had, and again, personal opinions, not saying this is all of them, I've only met 2 people that I think didn't want to actually have sex off Tinder. That were just completely cool. They just wanted to be friends. They didn't even really want to date. It was just like, hey, like, you're cool. I'll hang out with you kind of thing. And we have. And then, that's it. We keep in touch. And then I'd say at least 90% of them are literally just down after maybe 3 dates at the most just to have sex. And it's interesting that happens. That's, again, how our society seems to work. This generation is just fixated on that belief. And apparently there's something wrong. It's like, hey, man, this guy doesn't want to go to Pound Town. There's a problem, and I've never figured that out. I've had some odd dates before on Tinder, but I'll tell you, like, that's a video for, another time. So if you actually go on reviews and stuff for Tinder, so that would be, of course, the app reviews and whatever. Actually, the app reviews are actually kind of terrible, to be honest, and that's just on the application. But if you actually go in, again, people's stories and stuff like that, there's a lot of that. People had some really weird dates, like catfishing is a problem, people not showing up to the dates, again, just looking for sex. There are problems with those dates, and some of them work out quite well. But I think when it really comes down to is some people really try to value a relationship out of Tinder, and some people just value dating out of Tinder. And I think those are 2 different concepts completely, because a relationship is actually serious and there's an actual connection formed. When I think dating is just kind of like hanging out for a little bit, maybe going on a date or 2, having sex, fooling around, whatever, that's dating. Right, in my opinion, that whatever, friends with benefits, whatever you want to call it. So overall, personal opinion with Tinder. I think if you're coming into it and you're looking for the dating aspect and you're looking maybe just to kind of fool around a little bit, but not take something serious, like you could not fool around a little bit, but you could have just again dating, not an actual full relationship where 2 people are very committed. and then, there's possibilities from there, such as marriage, this would be perfect for you. But the reason why I like Tinder is I like just to kind of meet people, and then if something actually did progress, that's great. One of the biggest problems with me and Tinder, though, is you always get like the texting game going. You just kind of text back and forth, and nothing ever really happens. And the biggest problem is you don't actually know what someone's like because all you're doing is text them. You don't really know who they are, what their personality's like, what they do. You just, oh, okay, I can text them every day and, say good morning. But you don't really know, right? You haven't been around them. So those are two different things, and they're huge. So my advice to anybody watching that's like, yo, I'm on Tinder and I'm kind of struggling, or I get dates and I don't really know what to do, or we've been talking for a couple weeks, is make a plan. When you have like a week of like texting, make a plan. Be like, listen, this is what we're gonna do, and take initiative, take charge, and be like, listen, this is what we're doing. I've planned it out. Here's how it's gonna go. Don't do the awkward meet me at my apartment and we'll hang out. You're more than welcome to do that. That is sketchy, and I'm not doing that. And I have done it, and it's awkward because you're just sitting there in a stranger's house you don't know, and you could totally be like, just shit could hit the fan at any time. Other than that, thank you so much for watching this video on Tinder. This is a little bit of the male and female perspective, more of course of the male, where I am a male. But I still don't mind Tinder. I still use it when I can. Not currently, but I'll be back on her in a little while. And, try to get a couple matches here and there. And, pray to the gods that somebody replies. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. And thank you so much for the support on the channel. We are almost at 50 subscribers. Fucking A, dude. Oh, ready? Live long and prosper, boys. Peace.